so broke. I'm so broke.
All right. Welcome to Talking Investing. We are live, I believe. I am Tom.
I am George.
I feel like I'm not.
9 weeks in a row, Tom. That's what Alex just said.
9 weeks in a row?
9 weeks in a row. The worst stock market in 90 years.
That's
Did you
about
know
what
that?
it feels like. No, I didn't know that, but it does feel that way, doesn't it?
And here's the question. Who thinks it's going up next week?
Me.
I think you. It might dibble a little bit, but I don't think it's going way up. You know what I mean? Just don't.
Just a tiny paper loss. That's right. It's all on paper. Unless you're in options or leveraged, then you're probably had a really bad couple months. So let's look at the chart real quick before we get going. We are at
Jigga wigga. It's just a tiny paper loss. Just remember that you didn't lose anything until you sold.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's what Tom tells me all the time. I can just tell you that I'm in six-figure pain, so whatever that means. Six-figure pain.
That means you're doing great.
Six-figure pain. And the problem is, every time Bitfarm goes lower today, I'm like, Tom, should I buy it? Should I buy it? And he's like, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And it goes lower. I'm like, And I mean, it finished up a little bit, but you know, wiggle wiggle. You know what I mean? Wiggle wiggle.
Nothing got to its, well, I won't say nothing, but most of the miners did not get to their 52-week low today. So I did not buy anything today. I bought less this week than I would say any week of the whole year so far in 2022. And I will tell you why with this chart right here that should be on the screen. We keep bouncing off the same line. Like here's today. Today seemed like another nightmare. I mean, this is why it was a nightmare, because here's where the market opened, and then bang, red candles all day long, which put us all the way back to where we were yesterday. So it's like, I'm not going to average in. Averaging in is not buying in at the same number 15 different times. It's got to get to a new number for me to average in at this point. And it's just not. We've bottomed. We've bottomed.
I hope we did.
Well, I mean, we got to 25. I'll zoom out a little bit. We got down to, I'm calling it flash crash down to like just about 25,000, a little bit higher, depending on which chart you use. So, I mean, you can see these are 2-hour candles. So we flashed down to this. But other than that, this line at 28.8, and this is a significant line. This was the low on the year for 2021. So this is an 18-month line of support. And that's why it keeps holding up. That doesn't mean it's automatically going to hold up forever. You know, it'll hold up until it doesn't, but it's a very strong line of support. And you can see even on a day like today, like it was just down in a straight line right to this line. And then that's it. And now it's green candle, green candle.
So you're waiting for it to get down to 25,000, or at least break out of your little window thing of what it's doing?
If we retest 25, then, because I really didn't get, if you guys remember, we didn't really get a chance to buy in at that time. So, if we go retest that, then I will definitely dollar cost average in. And obviously, if we go below that, I don't believe that we're going below that. I still think there's a very good chance this line at 28.8 holds. I know that at this point, I'm the last person alive that thinks that. So, is there anybody on stream that thinks we've bottomed out somewhere between this 25 and 28,000, or does everybody think we're going lower?
I think we're going lower. I don't think we're going lower next week, though. That's going to be my answer. How about that one? I think next week's just going to be a dribble. Hang on, we got some comments real quick. Somebody bought a big chunk. I think that's SDIG. Is that Stronghold? Don't drink. Tom's been drinking a lot lately, guys. You know.
This is our sponsor.
Hang on, Barry. Are you hiking the Appalachian Trail? That's neat if you are. I had a friend that tried to do it during 2020 and then backed out because of what happened. And I realized something now that we're big. I know that you guys know this, but now that we're kind of Bitcoin purists in a sense because we're all in Bitcoin miners, we're down for the struggle, and the struggle's real. They do not want Bitcoin to change. They don't want you making money. The more they bring the pain, the more I think it's going to do well. Sorry.
And that's usually how it works. It's like a rubber band. The harder they pull, nice. The better. But it's no fun when you're bouncing along the bottom. So that's what's happening right now. And I know a lot of people are quitting. A lot of people have sold. A lot of people are quitting on the miners. And I think the majority of people feel like we're going lower. And a growing number of people, I think, feel like we're in for a crypto winter.
Yeah.
So as long as that's the sentiment, it's actually a good thing that that's turning into the sentiment. Because at some point, that's a part of signaling the bottom. And here we are again at 28.8. Like by 10:15 this morning, it was like, there we go. It's, because we were rallying, we got up to 30,363. So that was when the market, right as the market opened. And then, boom, it was just down the rest of the day. So I waited to see, and this line held as it has time after time. So until that breaks, I'm gonna feel good about that line. And again, I'm not saying, we could get another one of these deals here, but this was short. We flashed down to this and right back up. So I don't think we're in for so that's my point. That's when I say that I think a bottom is in, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, might we flash below that and back up? But, this is not, this happened not even during trading hours, so that's a whole nother story. But, I'm not trying to catch a 10-minute bottom. I think we're bottoming out. If we're not, then I will dollar cost average in some more at a lower point. And there's definitely, it's definitely on the table that we flash back down to 25.
Let me ask you a whole bunch of questions, just real quick. Stronghold, what's your views on its improving?
Man, I don't want to say I recommend Stronghold, and I don't own any, but I will tell you what, I took a good, long, hard look at those guys. If I wasn't already so invested in everybody else, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going out of business or they're so oversold it's insane. That stock right now is, I'm going to go to it because it's been hard for me not to buy this stock. Let's put it that way. Is that too bright, that screen?
No, it's okay.
This stock, so $57 million market cap. They have hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin miners already. They've got a bunch more coming. They made a bad deal with a company that I'm not even sure exists. So I think they got like $65 million deposit out there somewhere that, you know, it may never come back. And that stinks, and they're going to lose that money. And they had to, all year, for the first half of the year, they were saying, we're going to 8 exahash by the end of the year. 8 exahash by the end of the year. And, you know, they came out and made a major revision to the I think it was minor VA is what I call it, but I don't know what their real, that's how, that's how you sound it out. They bought all these machines from them, and they're just not getting the machines. And then the few machines they did get are not operating per specifications. So it looked like a total disaster nightmare. But when you take a step back, this last quarterly report they just put out, it does look like they're on track to get to 4 exahash. And if they do that, you know, they're not, 4 exahash is not a $57 million market cap company. I mean, when Bitcoin gets healthy, the combination of, if everybody can see that Stronghold made it to the other end of this problem, and if Bitcoin gets just a little healthy, a 10x makes them $570 million. Right? That's what a 4 exahash company is right now in this beaten down market. So there's, I'm almost talking myself into buying some. If that thing dips again, I might do it, because it's up. See, it's up 12% today on a down day, because it's just so oversold. It's crazy. So if anybody did somebody buy? I mean, that's a good. I feel like I don't even want to call it a lottery ticket. It's much better than that. That's an oversold stock.
70-30.
Even if they end up not making it to the finish line, at some point there's going to be even if we're in a bear market and they don't make it to the finish line, there's going to be a bounce in here somewhere, and they're going to get a big benefit from it, is my opinion. This is not financial advice.
My opinion is going to go down a little bit more. I have a reason why.
It's $57 million.
ESG. Guys, and oops, there I goes again.
No,
beep. Yep. I can't talk about it. We got demonetized last week because we talked about ESG. So.
That's okay. We're talking about it anyway. We're not going to let that stop us.
ESG.
I will tell you, these guys have a very compelling case, because they are also the company. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're the ones who are taking
Pennsylvania.
They're
cleaning
taking
up
all this massive toxic waste and cleaning it up and using it as energy to mine Bitcoin. So, like, I mean, that's an actual tangible green project. When they're done, when they're done, the land goes from toxic waste to green grass.
All I know is it's just not as clean as ExxonMobil. Just so you know, I'm just saying.
Well, according to the ESG score, that's right.
Volta, what's your thoughts on Volta? I'm going to try to do these quick.
I'm still very bullish on Volta. Very bullish. I did the very little bit that I bought this week. I bought some Volta. And
what's ARVL? ARVL.
ARVL?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Alex bought some more Cleanspark. I've just been, just so you guys all know, I've been just chilling.
I mean, Cleanspark's at $5.65. Anybody that's still got positions, here's the reason I'm not re-averaging him. Number one, it keeps going down to the same spot. And at this point, for those of you who've been following along, I mean, I've been dollar cost averaging in for a long time now. And, you know, I feel like my positions are full. I had a couple that I just started dollar cost averaging into in 2022. Riot was something I had gotten completely out of. I took a nice run up last year and then got all the way out of Riot. But I have dollar cost all the way back in, and I feel like that was the last one where I feel like my position is full. So unless there's a compelling reason I'm not buying. But I mean, I don't blame anybody for buying. I want to, every time I look at these prices, I mean, Bitfarm's at $1.82, CleanSpark at $5.65, Hut 8's at $2.48. Hive, which I know everybody thinks is going out of business, but I'm here to tell you they're not. They're at 88
Not financial
cents.
advice. They might get delisted. No, they won't.
They're not going to get delisted. They're not going to get. Here's the thing: they're making an attack on Hive, and there's a formula to attack a company. You can drive a company out of business through shorting, and this is not the formula. Hive is cash flow positive, and a lot of you will look at their financials and say, no, they're not, but they're cash flow positive if they sell their cryptocurrency, which is their revenue.
Which we recommend.
They only choose to hold on to that for now because they are able to. But if they had to, this is a cash flow positive company, even at, I think, like, I did the math on this. I think it was Bitcoin 18,000 is their break even, including overhead. That excludes non-cash items like stock compensation and depreciation. But that's your cash break even point is where this company can survive. So as long as Bitcoin's, 20, 25, 30,000, they're fine. They can't be put out of business. Their business can be hindered because they're certainly not going to go raise money at 88 cents a share, right? That option is kind of off the table. So it does slow them down, but it doesn't stop them. And I don't think the marketplace understands that.
Let me keep going down reading this list. Bob had a margin call. Hopefully it wasn't that bad.
Sorry,
Hopefully
Bob.
it wasn't that bad, Bob. I mean, yeah. I've had it. I don't know why are margin calls so scary? Why? I mean, I don't know why. I mean, what do we have, like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7? I don't know.
Nobody wants a margin call, and hopefully nobody's
I don't know why.
playing
It's like a
deep
ticket.
into their margin.
It's like a ticket, though. You know what I mean? It's like a speeding ticket. It's like, great, I got margin call.
We had a big discussion in the Discord. Somebody asked, should I start using my margin? And I always answer no to that. And the real answer is, if you're going to use your margin, just use a little bit. Because what you don't want to do, if you go use all your margin, then you're going to start getting margin calls, and you may start getting called for money that you don't have. So if you're going to use margin, know what you're doing, use it wisely, and be careful. Go a little bit into your margin, okay, I guess, but the safest bet is just stay out.
Somebody said something about Hut, and then I'll get into Bitfarm about losing their 2 exahash. What is up with Hut? Everybody wants to know what's up with Hut. Hut.
I want to get Hut on the channel. I think Hut is. I'm very bullish on Hut. And I'm not bullish on every single, like you guys can see my list here. There's a lot of stocks. I am not bullish on all of these stocks. But right now you guys happen to be.
Why did you stop on Marathon, by the way?
What?
Sorry. I'm not bullish on all these stocks. Marathon?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Nobody. No one in particular. So, no, there's actually several of these companies that I think stand a big danger of getting gobbled up by the bigger guys at the prices that they're going down to right now. This is gonna be like, I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember this, but this was like corporate takeovers was a big thing in the 80s. And it kind of disappeared, but I got to tell you, not just the Bitcoin mining industry. There's hundreds and hundreds of companies right now at a stock price where, I mean, they're going to get raided. They're going to get taken over. And their option, everybody's, well, a poison pill. It's like, well, your option is you go out of business. I mean, that's just get taken over and take the money. Better than nothing.
Just realize the more they bring the pain, usually the more the reward. So they're bringing the pain big time on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And my theory was cryptocurrency was going to $1 trillion. It has not hit $1 trillion. I think it's going lower than $1 trillion. I've said that for, I don't know, probably 8 months now. So just realize it is going lower. How much more lower? I don't know. It has to. There's just too many variables out there right now, especially with Bitcoin. There's a lot of variables. Bitfarm losing 2 exahash. What?
What? They did.
No, there was a misprint.
No.
8.6, 6.8.
What they did, and I went through this in my video. I did a video on Bitfarms because I wanted to explain that, and I feel like they were. I don't know if they did the best job of explaining what's going on there, but they already have purchase ordered 7.2 exahash of machines. So it was their goal, and still, even on the conference call and in their presentation, they kind of almost gave conflicting information, but I'm taking it as a range. They're saying, look, we know we're going to get to 6.0. That's a done deal. They're still targeting 8.0 by the end of the year. But what's happening, if you guys notice, every quarterly investor package in a row, their megawatts in Argentina keeps cutting in half. So it was going to be 200, then it was going to be 105. Now this quarter they're saying it's going to be 50. So, you know, when Ben was on, I thought he gave very honest answers and he gave a good interview, and he's a serious dude, and those guys are all about making money. But he said, if you guys remember, he said, like, we're going to walk before we run in Argentina because that's kind of uncharted territory, and we want to make sure that's all going to work out first. So you can see, I think that's what's happening. They're backing down to 6 exahash has everything to do with the fact that, you know, first of all, Argentina they're going to be natural gas for them, not hydrogen. So or hydro. So there's implications to that from a ESG standpoint, as well as the fact that right now, you know, the price of gas and oil is very volatile. In addition to that, you know, I'm not sure they've locked down doing business in Argentina. They say they have people there from there and they've got relationships, but you know,
is that a third world country or no? Is it like borderline second to third?
Who am I to classify them as a...
They don't like guns, and they realize they're going to need guns.
I don't know what the details are, but it is evident that they have, and maybe they'll figure it out, and they'll get up to the 200 megawatt capacity that is there for them if they can make it happen. But
Chile.
That's what's going on.
Out of Chile. And Chile might be a good place to go.
Well, and they're in Paraguay, I think.
Oh, are they? Okay.
So
everybody's in Paraguay.
And that's hydro also.
Right.
So, but the thing is, 6 exahash. If they stay on target, and they're at 6 exahash at the end of this year, and they have 7.2 exahash worth of machines, and they're just waiting for some stuff to come online. Because I think ideally, also, if they had to, well, not ideally, but if they had to, you know, they can gain capacity in Canada to just stay all hydro, and you know, stay in their own backyard and do all of it there. So if they do that, though, I think they're saying is it's probably going to take us another quarter, you know, or who knows, maybe more. So that would slow them down a little bit. Everybody's a little bit off plan. Those guys have been, I would say that the two companies that have done the best job of staying the closest to their plan are, in my opinion, Bitfarms, and I know they just revised it a little bit, and Riot.
I can say Riot, yep.
So, you know, nobody's perfectly on their plan, but some people are a little bit off their plan, and some people are disastrously off their plan. And there's more than...
Any ideas of what company, any thoughts, any information out there that you could give us?
I'll tell you, apparently, it's funny that I did a Sphere 3D video and nobody Nobody watched it. So everybody has forgotten about the Gatorade machine, the new miner that was going to revolutionize the industry. And they got, what do they got? 10 days left to deliver those machines, and then that contract is void. So if you want to know, if you want an update on that, I did do an update on the Sphere 3D was going to be Griffin merger / any / new miners. And so they don't have any of them. They got so far. But here's my bigger problem with them.
Woo!
They also ordered 60,000 S19J Pros, and they only have 1,000 of those 60,000.
Whoa.
So they got a long way to go.
Hang on, I missed some good stuff up here.
Go.
Somebody tripled their position in Tesla.
Tripling down. Oh my.
Ooh.
Well,
You a crazy man, Mark. You crazy.
According to the internet, I am a Tesla fanboy. So,
Well, Tesla fanboy. I can tell you right now, I'm just going to say it's going to be a bumpy ride. I'm not saying it's not going to get to where it's going, because it probably is, but it's going to be bumpy for up until probably November because of Elon Musk and what he's been saying.
there's some political stuff going on there that seems like it's seeping into the stock price.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Just a question for me, would you put more money, I mean, how much exposure would you have in the market? Let's just say I don't know, say $100,000. And how much of that would you put in right now? If that was like all your savings. So like you only have $100,000 saved.
Well,
How much of that would you put in?
I would never put 100 of it in.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. What would you put in right now?
Yeah, I mean,
Would you put more money into the market right now is what I'm saying. Because it's really beat up. Would you put more money into the market right now?
Yes, I am in general. I'm still dollar cost. Like the Bitcoin miners didn't give me a big opportunity to dollar cost average into this week, so I didn't. But if the opportunity presents itself, there is going to be a time where we go, wow, I bought shares of Bitfarms for $1.82. I mean, that's going to be unthinkable, in my opinion. Not financial advice. I don't know the future, but I mean, unless something bizarre happens, these stocks are extremely oversold from a technical standpoint. These are numbers I don't think any of us thought we were ever going to see again, even in a crypto winter. I don't think anybody thought Bitfarms was going down to $1.80. I mean, these numbers are wild. Riot's at $6.84. Marathon's under 10. And okay, Marathon's a different story. They have some good news, bad news, and I understand a lot of people are down on Marathon. But even with Marathon, I mean, just their assets, you can't be worth, I won't say you can't. In this market, there are a lot of companies that are being valued at less than their book value and at less than their enterprise value. So enterprise values of near zero or negative. So in other words, like Stronghold we were talking about, they have several $100 million worth of assets, not intangible assets, not patents or whatever. They've got machines plugged in, basically mining money. So, to me, a floor should be, 1 times book value, especially a lot of these companies. And this is why people are making a big mistake on Hive. And that doesn't mean it's not going to get worse before it gets better, because it very well probably will get worse before it gets better. They're doing a reverse split on Tuesday. They were going to do it today. They're doing it on Tuesday instead. And that they were hoping to take that to $5, actually to $6.25 is where it would have gone when they announced it. Now it won't even take them to $5. It could get to the point where it's going to take them to $4. So that stock could be driven down, but I'm here to say...
Is it doing 3 to 1, or what are they doing?
4.
Sorry, I didn't mean to whistle.
No,
4 to 1?
They're doing yeah.
Guys, and that would be a rough one. I don't know if I'd get right back into it.
Well, that's why I'm not averaging in at 88 cents. I think it's ridiculously oversold, but I do think after a reverse split so many times, the stock takes another big hit.
I'm shorting that
downward.
motherfucker.
So
I mean, I don't believe in shorting stocks. That's not right.
Hey, you can listen. You can short stock. You guys know I don't like to short stock. That's my favorite comment in the comments section. Is like, oh,
That
you're
could be
just
the
shorting
best
this
move.
company because
That could be
anybody
the best move.
what short
Shorting Hive after it splits, after it does its splits.
You know my feeling on shorting.
So on Tuesday, I have a question. Does that mean that they're going to close it Monday night and be trading Tuesday, or are they
Yeah.
going to close it Tuesday night and be
No,
trading?
that means that on Tuesday it will be adjusted for the reverse split.
So
Or
we
as
could.
they say,
So
the
and just so you guys
consolidation.
know what happens when that happens. I've had that happen to me once, and I'm just assuming everybody's an idiot. Sorry if you already know this information, but they shut you down. So some of these broker houses don't let you trade it for the first couple hours of the next day. They always have a problem. You know, they get to trade it, but you can't. So just be careful if you're in it. Realize that could happen, and that's why people get really nervous.
And there's no doubt. I mean, there is a history of reverse stock splits not going well. I am not disputing that. That is a likely short-term outcome
Right.
for this reverse
Yeah,
stock
I
split.
wouldn't stay in it long. I mean, I would probably be better to get. Would that be a put or a call to cover if it goes up?
Well, if you're shorting it, you'd have to buy a call to cover yourself.
Right. Call. Okay. Tom,
But-
do you have any? Tom has puts. I'm sure he has a ton of them.
I don't have a ton of puts. I will buy some puts. More often, I buy puts as protection. I'd rather sell a put than buy one. And I do not short. I don't. I mean, nobody has to believe me.
He doesn't.
I just.
Because I wanted to short any way back in the beginning when it was like $12. Remember?
There's sometimes
Told me,
where
we were like, damn, let's short you. I can't short it. I'm like, dude, it's going. It's awful. It was awful. I mean, their
overall-
ESG score has definitely increased, in my opinion. Just so you guys all know.
Well, that's right. Their
Yeah.
carbon footprint's almost
Yeah.
zero. They don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're really trying. So, but anyways,
There's been too many instances. It's hard to have conviction in a short because a lot of times when a stock price is too high, it still may go higher. It still may double or triple or quadruple, and you have to wait 1 or 2 or 3 years for the payoff. And I just don't have conviction to the downside that way. You know, if I'm holding a stock, and remember, that's your downside is infinite when you short something, because when you buy options or when
you cover it. If you cover it every week, you know what I mean. You're okay.
Well, you can cover it every week and just keep losing money forever. Yes.
But it depends on how quickly it's going down too. Oh, what are you talking? Are you talking about Michael Bloom? Is that his name? Bloom.
Yeah,
Tesla
well,
dude?
listen, he had conviction and he held on and not with Tesla, but he did back in the subprime mortgages. He had to wait for years. I mean, he found something. He was 100% right. He was the only one saying it, but he was still, from a stock market standpoint, he was still wrong for years.
Right.
Now
I think, is he saying the same thing right now? By the way, he has to be.
I think he just went short Apple.
Really?
I think so. So I don't know. There's a few things I wouldn't bet against. Apple tends to win at the end of the day. Tesla tends to win, and I try not to talk about Tesla because you say something good, you get in trouble. You say something bad, you get in trouble. I feel like their valuation doesn't make a lot of sense. Having said that, I've always thought this stock has momentum that's unstoppable, and it's probably going up. I've never owned a share of Tesla stock.
Tesla lover.
That's
his from what video was that?
I did a video on Lucid Motors.
Yeah, Lucid.
And I'm not sure anybody even watched the video. I think they just came in and commented on how much did Tesla pay you to make this video? Oh, you're a Tesla fanboy. You love Tesla. So,
Okay, hang on. I missed a few things back here. Let me go. I swing trade LABU this week, made 77% in 2 days. Eric, way to be. Thanks for
nice.
telling the Discord. You know, we have a Discord channel. We would like to swing trade with you too. And it looks like the main guy is from Argentina. That's why they're going there. At Bitfarms, by the way.
This link in the description to go join us on Discord. We got some big stuff coming up next week on Discord.
Let's Gamble says, "Stay is Terror Wolf a stay away company?" Question mark.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Terror Wolf, Tera Wolf.
Yeah, stock ticker WULF. So I don't
Stay away or no?
I don't own them. I'm not buying them right now. They're not on my endangered species list. No
They're gonna make it.
pun intended,
Maybe.
but I don't. They're not. It's not one. It's one I'm staying away from. I think there's at least 10 that are a much better buy, in my opinion.
Give me your top 3 right now.
Well, I mean, I can tell you my standbys. I still stand by, which is Bitfarms,
Riot,
Bitfarms, CleanSpark. I mean, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, Hut, Riot. I'm very
Core. I'm a core guy, so.
I filled out my position on Core in 2022. So Riot and Core are the two that I most recently, finished dollar cost averaging into. And I mean, Core at $3.72. I just don't know what people look at when they read these financial statements. And
How much lower can it go, Tom, do you think? Can they split in half from here?
absolutely, I'll tell you, I'm never
Don't
gonna
say that.
Well, the reason I say that is because I have stocks that have traded so far below their valuation by any measure. I have one stock in my portfolio now down over 98%. So, when you see something like that, you go, all right, well, I guess in this market, it's all fair game. These stocks can go, and that's why I don't sell any of my stocks. It doesn't matter what we hit. I have not sold any of my Bitcoin miners. I do have one stock in my entire portfolio, and it's in the 10K challenge that I am nervous about. I'm not selling it. I'm going to stick with it, and I'll probably do a video on that this weekend.
I'm scared, guys.
I'm going to stick with it because I think it's good. But there's something I call it the $1 death spiral. And there are stocks where when they short them to under $1, unlike in the situation with Hive where they can just pay their own way, right? If you're cash flow positive, nobody can short you out of business. But if you're not cash flow positive and your stock gets under $1, there's a potential death spiral there where it doesn't matter how great your quarterly reports are. At some point, you're going to need money. And, if you're down 98%, you can't raise money through equity anymore. It's of no, your stock's of no value. So we'll see.
Hang on. That guy mentioned a few other stocks. Oh, I think somebody was picking on me about the red moon, the full moon on Monday. By the way, if you did look on that day, at the time on the full moon, you can see, I wish I had the thing, it slid down 2,000 points at the time of the full moon, by the way. It did.
I can.
And then it came right back up.
Hello to everybody, by the way. I can't really read the comments today. George is reading.
Oh,
them
I'm
for
doing
me,
them.
But no, I know you're representing everybody. I usually just say hello to everyone in specific. But I can't see who's on.
No one has said hi to you, just so you know, Tom. Not one person.
I'm
so
devastated.
You're not. Found success with Dash, CVNA, and Band. BYN.
Oh, Beyond Meat?
Yeah, Beyond. I guess so. Oh, you did Beyond Meat recently.
I think they're a buy, but again, I mean, it's like I'm not starting I'm not opening new positions right now because the market is a scary place. If I've already done my due diligence and it's already got to a point where I feel good about it and I know I'm willing to hold it for 5 or 10 years, then I don't mind averaging in. Beyond Meat is very high on my watch list. I have not started buying it yet because it's another one where, and I'm going to tell you why. So they have a $1.5 billion market cap. And if you look, give me just 1 second. So their sales are about $500 million projected for 2022, and they have nice 20 to 25% growth. There's a specific reason I think this stock is going to take off in the next 5 years. But right now, the market is being stupid. So when the market sees a $1.5 billion market cap, they go, oh, well, we can cut that in half. And by the way, they don't even care. These guys could have $1.5 billion in the bank. The market doesn't care. They'll still cut it in half. As long as there's market cap left to be stolen, this market will steal it. And so I'm being very cautious. I know my stocks may still all be going down, but I'm in companies that I feel very good about. And I'll tell you, this one has a lot of catalysts. It's way oversold. You can see it's $24. This was a $160 stock. And it was probably overbought, obviously, at that point. But, you know, it's...
I can tell you one I would stay away from.
Which
it's
one?
on your board. Peloton. I don't care what you say.
That's not... I'm not... That's not for me. These guys have gotten decimated. Just totally decimated. They're down from $129.70. Well,
when I shorted them,
now.
I mean, I don't short. When I shorted them, I mean, I could go through a list of companies that we said, boom, short them.
I wish I was a shorter because lately, well, you know, it's been a tough market. So yeah, this year everyone who's shorting is a genius. But over time, I still think I'd be way behind if I shorted everything that I thought was a good short.
Remember, we don't have a new moon yet either. I don't mind anybody picking on me, but thank you, Alex, if you weren't picking on me. Have you noticed a couple of miners, like, I guess it says Mawson swing in the opposite direction to the others?
Yeah, Mawson had a streak where everything was red and they were green, and then the next day everything was green and they were red, and Iris Energy did the same thing as well. It must have been the end of a lockup period because they were down like 45% one day this week, only to come back the next 2 days almost all the way back to where they started. So I don't know what happened there. I did do the math on that, and it seemed like the lockup period was already over for several days, but maybe, you know what, I may have just misdone the math, and that was the day it ended.
No one took my challenge also on Discord when I put in about was it Tether, about the stable coin USDT, right? USDT.
Yep.
No one has been able to analyze to figure out why. Can I say you're nervous about it too, Tom, or no, just me?
You're more nervous than I am. I'm going to do an analysis on the stable coins and Bitcoin dominance. So let me know in the comments, and George can tell me since I can't see him. If anybody's interested on that, I got a big theory on Bitcoin dominance and what's about to happen. So,
just so you know, a lot of people said hi to you.
Oh, hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for showing up to our live streams. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot.
So let's say you control all the money in the world. Let's just play pretend for a second. And you have an asset class that you don't like and you want to regulate it. What is a way to put panic and fear in the market? Does anybody know? What is a way to do that? I mean, I'm just saying the way I would do it. Remember, you're sitting at that poker table, and you got a mound of cash in front of you. You know, everybody else got a few $100s. You got $100,000, and you're playing against everybody else at that table. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, when you're the big stack, you can push the table around. That's
Yeah,
that's the
yeah, that's the
bottom line.
same. That's the same thing that's going on in the market right now, and I think that's what's going on in crypto right now. So the reason why I think that we're going to have a problem with Tether, if we didn't have the problem with Evergrande, I would tell you probably Tether would gonna be okay.
You
You know what
think
I
they're
mean?
invested in that?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that thing's been beyond a disaster.
I know, but they don't have who. This is the here is my problem with stablecoins and also cryptocurrency. Tell me the person that has signed their ass on the line to say that everything's okay. Tom, you were an auditor. What was the one thing you had to do when you were done auditing?
I mean, the partners signed the auditor's report, so their neck was on the line. That's it. Game over. And it can happen. Just ask Arthur Anderson.
By the way, Alex, if you were Elon, I agree, but you would have already bought Marathon. So my theory is that Elon should buy Marathon, just so you guys know. I think that would be because the company's just beat up. I mean, that's why I think it might get beat up a little bit more, but I think there's a great opportunity for, sorry to pick on Marathon, but for some strong leadership to come in there, a personality to come in there and really, take over Marathon and have it go nuts. Because they have almost everything they need.
Marathon has a lot of very valuable assets. Their performance this year has not been good. I think management tends to be blamed. I'm probably in that camp as well. I don't like to point the finger at management first thing, but at some point, I mean, come on. It feels like they're not even trying. So, that is, if they get, this is where I'm saying, like, Marathon hinted that they might sell themselves at the right price. Well, I'm hinting that somebody might buy them at the wrong price because their stock is getting so low that, now they're already past, they were at $80. They're at under $10 now. So, there's one where their assets, they've got machines. Somebody with relationships, particularly somebody with relationships with energy companies, could, Hut has a big relationship with an energy company. So I'm not even suggesting that they're even looking to do anything like that. I'm just saying the right person could have all those machines plugged in 90 days and be minting money.
Yeah. So hang on a second. You know what was really interesting was Twitter. Did I ever tell on stream that I said that deal's never going down the way it's structured? Did I ever do that on stream?
Talked about that
So I told Tom as soon as that was in, I said, no way that deal's going through. He goes, what? What do you mean? I said, I'm telling you, there's no way their users. Here's how I know their users aren't active. I tried to get user names. So this is how Twitter, whatever you want to call it, works. Is that they take and they give you a username, right? And just call it Kudab, because that's the name I was trying to take. Call it Kudab. Well, no one's used that account in like, I don't know, 7 years? Whenever it started. I don't know how many years ago it started. No one's used it. They used it for like 5 or 6 straight. If you take and you look at Twitter and you look at the number of accounts there are, and then you look at the number of activities of those accounts, I think you can cut it in half.
Well, it's a double whammy because you got what you're talking about, the accounts that are dormant, that are, never going to get used again. And then Elon Musk's big problem with them is they've got a bunch of fake accounts. Bot accounts that those are active, but they're not real. So definitely, I mean, Twitter has played that game very wrong with Elon Musk, and I think he may still end up getting the company. At a bare minimum, he's exposed a big problem that they have.
How about this? How about he takes the money that he saves, Alex, and buys Marathon? That would be a very good investment. Because, I mean, are you even going to spend $2 billion for Marathon at this point in time?
If you have if you have the energy relationships, Marathon's worth $2 billion in my opinion all day long.
Yeah.
If they're never going to plug in, I don't care. Having 100,000 machines is not useful. Having 100,000 machines plugged in and mining efficiently is useful.
Yeah, I know.
You can have
Someone forgot to flip the switch, guys. What's going on?
That key last step is really that's the most important part.
It gets crazy. Someone is, hang on before I forget. Kafzilla did an exposing tether, Bitcoin's biggest secret. I don't think.
What's that?
I don't know if they're. Yeah, I guess it was. I'll have to watch it. But when you look at their, what was it? They called it transparency. Best thing to do, smack it in the face, call it transparency. Go look at the transparency and see the disaster in there. It is just waiting. I think it was what, 30? I think around between 30-ish% probably. I don't know.
It was 28 point something percent. And there was so many things that were not. Here's what I don't get. If you're going to have a stable coin, it should just be, if you're pegged to the US dollar, which is what a stable coin is. That's not my definition. That's what it is. Stable coin is pegged to the US dollar. So you should have one asset. You want to be 100% pegged to the US dollar? Own US dollars. There is no other way to do that.
Don't call it USDT. First of all, maybe change your ticker. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's not tied. And I don't want to go any deeper. And it's not even conspiracy, by the way. This is all factual information that you can go and see. It's work. I didn't even tell you. I forgot to tell you what else I found out about it. It's like, are you kidding me? Wow.
I mean, even the report we looked at, they did have some kind of audit and they issued a report, but 6% was listed as other. Other.
Tom, what would you do? Would you be able to stamp that and sign that if it said other?
Nah. 6% is material. 6% is enough to wreck a stable coin that's supposed to be pegged to the dollar. So I don't know what's in other. That does not give me a comfort level. So I don't know. I'm an old auditor, and so obviously I probably over scrutinize things, and I'm too cautious. But I don't. When you've got a stable coin and one of the main investments is other, that's not great.
It ain't pegged.
Right.
It's almost pegged, but it ain't pegged. Could you please give more of the stocks that you were severely beaten down? You said a whole bunch of companies that are down.
Oh, yeah.
89%, 98%, 97%.
I got some of them listed here in, a lot. I will tell you, a lot of the small cap EV stocks. So I guess this is my little EV watch list here. So at the top of here, obviously Tesla's huge. Rivian, Lucid, Neon, Xpeng, and Li. Those are all larger cap, much smaller than Tesla, but these are all large cap companies. And these are beaten down. But I'm very nervous about these companies, and that's why everybody thinks I'm a Tesla fanatic, because I'm reading the financial statements on Lucid Motors, and it's a nightmare. And they might have the best car ever made in the history of time, but nobody can deny that their financial statements are a nightmare. So that's my point. It's like, and that doesn't mean their stock's going to go down, because one thing doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the other, but there's just legitimate concerns on their financial statements. Their gross profit is negative. Forget net income. Their gross profit is negative, which means it costs them more to build a car than they sell it for. And by the way, these are high-end luxury cars. They're selling these for $150,000.
And they're still upside down. So
is
that EBITDA? EBITDA is up down?
That's their EBITDA's even worse. I'm just saying literally direct cost. So sales versus direct cost of sales, they lose money on that equation.
Wow.
And they will scale up, and I said in my video, they're going to fix that. They're not going to lose money. They're not going to have a negative gross profit margin forever, but they've got a long way to go just to get back to zero, and it's a legitimate concern. So You know, I don't, but having said that, since I made that video, you know, today is a down day, but Lucid Motors stock has been great over the last 2 weeks.
What percentage down is that?
Oh, Lucid is down radically. I don't know. It's got to be down 80 or 90% from its peak.
He wanted to know the 98% stocks.
Well, this is one of them.
You just said it's only down 90.
Oh, 90. Listen, you got to search long and hard to find a stock down 98%, but you got to search long and hard to find a stock down 90%. So
okay.
So these guys were at $57 and now they're at $17. So, you know, they're not 90. But you get down to the bottom of this XL, I'll tell you, XL fleet, and I don't know that these business models are going to succeed, but I'm looking at companies that have a multi-year cash runway. In other words, they're not going to run out of cash in the next 12 months, and they have more cash in the bank, net of debt, so their net cash is greater than their market cap. So when I see a company like that, to me, that says opportunity. As soon as we get out of a nightmare bear market, companies are not supposed to have a market cap of less than the net cash they have in the bank. That means they're valuing the entire company at a negative dollar value, which is extremely rare. So XL is one. They're down 90-ish%. Arrow, they're down over 90%. And Arrow has more than twice as much cash in the bank as their market cap. They have a multi-year cash runway, and their cash in the bank is double their market cap. So, and I'm not saying these are great companies that are going to win in the end, and I'm just talking about trades that, you know, when something's trading for half of its cash value, I'm willing to take. That's a risk reward I'm willing to take. So this is not investment advice, but you guys,
Mark Twain, we are in for more pain. We're hiking rates in the middle of a world-changing inflation event. What was going on in the late 1970s with Mr. Carter, Mr. President Carter in office, eating his peanuts? Were they hiking rates also at that time?
They'll never. That will always be the biggest rate hike period in the history of time, and that record will never be broken. And we'll never come close to it.
But, I mean, aren't we kind of repeating the same thing in this administration, or no?
On a much smaller... So people think these rate hikes are a disaster. I think by the time they were done, I think that was Paul Volcker, I think rates were over 20%. 20. They were... We're scared because they did a half a point raise. They were raising them 2 points, 3 points, 5 points. I mean...
Were they throwing darts?
It was unbelievable. So that was a unique situation. And then, you know, we had inflation and we had massive interest rate hikes. So this is a mini version of that. I would agree with that. There's a lot of similarities between what's going on right now and what happened then. I do think there's a much easier, quicker fix, although we fixed that very quickly. Within 3 or 4 years of that, the market was booming and everything was great. So as bad as things can seem, just remember in 1979, the interest rates were at 20%, inflation that was like 18%, and we came through that.
Mark, he can't read what you wrote. That's what's so funny.
What did he tell me?
1979 Iran revolution caused a gas price that created a inflation event. Iran had 4% of energy oil market share.
Yes, I remember waiting in line for gas, and again, a lot of that was manufactured, because you're right, that was a factor, and you know, back then it was OPEC, and there was we literally had to wait in line based on what letter your name was in the alphabet. Like, oh, you don't get to buy gas today. You know, it's not your day. That's how bad it got back then. So,
it's rough, that's being a Gen Xer. You know that we've seen everything.
That's another similarity to what's going on right now, right? Obviously when we go fill up the tank, that's not fun experience right now.
Did you watch the TikTok, by the way, about?
I did not watch the TikTok that you sent.
Okay. So, I mean, do you think we're going to see gas shortages? And do you think that a $5 gallon gas is around the corner?
I think that by the middle of this summer, we are definitely in that is very possible.
What does that do? Does that help the stock market or hurt the stock market?
No, it's bad. It's terrible.
I mean, I'm just trying to find something good.
It's bad news, and that's on the table for sure. And there's fixes we could do, but we're not doing them, and we got no plans to do them.
They're saying, just so you know, they're saying that California could hit $10 a gallon gas, by the way.
I mean, that's a disaster.
$10 gas. Russia is 10% of the world's oil. I don't know if that is like production or if that's actually, you know, how much is reserved.
They produce a lot of oil. Russia produces a lot of oil. So,
but you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's like in the ground 10% or if that's being pumped out and delivered into areas. You see what I mean?
I don't know the exact number, but I would not be surprised if it's both of those. They have massive oil reserves, and they account for, you know, Europe buys a lot of oil from Russia. Not solely from Russia. They don't get all their oil from Russia, and, you know, they get from a diverse amount of places, but it's a significant part of their oil, and that's a big deal.
I think when you look at oil, I'm not saying anything else. That's all I can say. That's how much I know. So I'm not saying anything else. Does that make sense? I think the oil industry is, I think it's I can't go there. It's too small of a stream. I can tell you, but you don't want to hear it.
Here's what I'll say. These things sort themselves out. It's definitely a problem right now. But the question is, you know, it will sort itself out over time. Just how much pain is there in the middle, which is a legit question, because we're trying to invest in stocks and make money here, and you know, if there's a bunch more pain to come, then you know, it's hard. I'm not selling any of my stocks at the price they're at right now, because if this ends up long term being the top, then that means like we've all failed. So I don't believe that's going to happen.
Oh, I got you. No, I think long term, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, especially with the way everybody's coming out against it. Remember, ETF. If they were not scared of Bitcoin, an ETF would already be out there and we would be out of control. And that's how scared they are of Bitcoin. Don't you agree with that statement?
There's no doubt.
Yeah, ETF. If you want to see an industry change overnight,
and they're pushing ETF. That. They're delaying it as much as humanly possible, but I do believe that's inevitable. I think, you know, this isn't the first time I've said this. I think we're within 12 months of an ETF. I did say that over 12 months ago, so I was wrong then, and I guess I could be wrong again, but I will, even if it takes longer than I think, it's coming. Grayscale will not take no.
I gotta go, but who thinks, what is the low of Bitcoin in the next 3 months? And when are they coming out with regulations? Do you know?
Well, there's no set date for regulations, which is another gigantic cloud hanging over the head of Bitcoin and therefore the Bitcoin miners. And that's going to take longer than any of us want it to take in the United States. This regulation could come in stages and phases. The more of it that happens, and the sooner it happens, the better, because once it's defined, it's not hanging over Bitcoin's head anymore. So
I agree. 12 grand. Holy, 21, 12. Wow. Because I want to get in heavy with Bitcoin, but I'm just nervous right now to do it. 19. Yeah, I can see it going to the teens. I was thinking upper teens myself, like 18, 19-ish, 17 maybe. Yeah, Seth is thinking 20. So we got 22, 19, 21, 12. Tom, what do you think? Where
I
can
will
it
tell
go?
you, with all those answers, that is the sentiment right now on the street. So you guys are
20 to
definitely,
25?
or less. People are talking 15, 18, 20, 22. I really think 25 is going to hold. But I know
So,
that's like the high. Nobody's picking a number that high. And but that's a part of the fact that,
yeah,
to
look
me
at
that
depending on the implosion of Tether, 15 to 19, 18. I have a question now. With that being said, what do we think the max will be of Bitcoin this year? What do you guys think it will be max? Are we going to see six figures? Does anybody think after all this, maybe after November happens, that it takes back up? I can just tell you that I can't say what I know, but I know what I can say.
how about instead of by the end of the year, what's a 12-month price? Does anybody think Bitcoin's getting back to an all-time high within the next 12 months?
Oh, I'll say yes, 100% on that.
I do too.
Yeah, I can say 100% on
So
that.
to me, that's how I'm
I mean,
investing.
this is not financial advice. I could say you can never do 100%. I'll do
Nothing's
90,
100%.
90%. Now, if someone says 60, Alex says 78 to 80. Ninja sideway action for the rest of the year. Is it Judah? 60 USD. Seth, nope. Bob, 60.
Just no, Seth. You're Seth.
Nope. None. Mark, 69. I think it's the ETF. I think when that ETF hits, I think we're gonna have a nice big bump. Yes, 70 plus. Eric says 70K plus next 12 months.
All right.
If the inflation point, this is the other thing that I don't understand with Bitcoin, and let's close after this. Why does Bitcoin go down when interest rates go up? Can you explain that to me? And hang on, before you do, if inflation report starts trending the other way, there is so much money on the sidelines, 85 plus from Logan. Barry, as soon as the ETF doubles all-time high, ooh, that's a nice one. Mark says 48K. Is it Zolter? Long-term, I believe, in the Great Reset, hard crash, build back better, demobilization on green energy. After that happens, maybe we get a different system with UBI than BTC to the moon. Seth, sorry, losing faith this year. Eric, liquidity sentiment. So why is that with Bitcoin? Why do you think Bitcoin is, when inflation goes up or when the cost of money goes up, then Bitcoin's been going down?
I mean, I'll give you my opinion. I think right now that Bitcoin is absolutely artificially pegged to the NASDAQ. And so that is how the NASDAQ reacts to interest rates. And we seem to be, there was one day where Bitcoin held on and NASDAQ had a bad day. But if you look at the last 180 days, we've just been very tied to the NASDAQ. And it is my contention that is a short-term relationship. I haven't had anybody explain to me a logical reason why we would be so closely correlated with the NASDAQ when what Bitcoin does, in my mind, is in no way related to what the NASDAQ does. So I think that's been happening, and it's going to keep happening until one day it stops happening. And if you zoom out, you'll see that's not the historic trend, but it's a very strong trend right now. So that's what they're doing. Again, this whole sector of cryptocurrency is just over $1 trillion. So that's not, I mean, obviously that's a lot of money, but financially speaking, that's not a lot of money. So this is what big money wants to happen in the short term, and it's what's happening. And we just got to grin and bear it.
I agree with you, but Tom does not, and Michael wrote this, all the markets are rigged.
I mean, I'm not going to argue that point. I can't invest based on that thesis, but some days it feels like What? How does any of this
Bro.
make sense at all?
Rob or Brob says 15K bottom. Remember me saying this.
All right, he's on
I
record.
like that. I'm gonna remember this. So 15. So if I have a little bit of money set aside at 15, I can be safe. And you think I'll get there? I have a position. That's what I want to fill out. I want to fill out like a large order of Bitcoin, but I've been waiting. I mean, a large order. 4 or 5 tokens is, coins is a large order. You know what I mean? But that's what that's what I've been waiting on.
George wants to hit the bottom, and he doesn't
I
feel
want to
like
hit
we're
the.
there
I
yet.
want to hit the bottom. No, I don't think I want to hit the bottom. My thing is, I just don't want to hit now and then have it go to 15,000. Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
want
you
it
wanna
to
hit
go
the
to
bottom.
15,000 and buy it, and it goes to 10.
Oh, you don't mind if it goes lower. You just
No.
You're just certain it's going certain it's going
Yeah,
lower from
yeah.
here. So it's not time in your
Yeah.
opinion. And you can see from our answers that everybody agrees with you. Nobody feel I don't think anybody feels like we're at a low right now and that the bottom is in and we're on the mend. And the world doesn't feel like that, and the economy doesn't feel like that, and the market doesn't feel like that. So I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. But Bitcoin is very resilient.
I got to get off. Thanks, everybody. My wife turned 50 today, and it's her birthday, so
Oh,
I
you're
told her I
not
wouldn't be
supposed
long.
to.
No, I mean 39.
That's right.
39. Yeah, she's 30. I'm married young.
Everybody,
I'll see
don't
everybody.
forget, if you're not in the Discord, join up. We got something good going on next week. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And happy birthday to George's wife. Everybody enjoy the weekend. Thanks again.
See you guys.